somewhat recently, we talked about how female rage is having a cultural moment. And we found out that female rage rituals are the premier wellness trend for wealthy white women. But shockingly, in a shocking new development, men are paying thousands of dollars as well to go on male rage retreats.
They're not men.
These dudes paid over $3,000 to attend a 4-day retreat in Montana where they, quote, unleash their primal power, take responsibilities for their lives, and rekindle the connection with their true self.
At what point in this does the crypto scam come in? Like at what point
this is a cult.
At what point does the guy say, and for just $29.95 you can, you can increase your value as a high status male?
Yeah, this says this is what happens when a man finally lets go of the pain he's been carrying and embraces his true power. Let's take a look at the video, shall we?
Here we go, guys. Nope, not getting copyrighted from this one too.
They're like holding him while he screams into the grass.
Frankly, it should be at a higher frame rate.
It's
screaming.
It's so ridiculous.
Dry heaving. They're holding him up in the air.
Guys. Don't do this stuff.
It looks like they're doing acting exercises here, but
this is no different than like people that like dance around at church.
They should do the one where the guy puts his arm around the girl and he's explaining things to her.
yeah, so that's a look into what a male rage retreat entails.
It's annoying.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to ascertain who this person is that runs the male rage retreat, but he did publish a response video to the backlash.
Here we go. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Let's hear his explanations.
Okay.
He looks like a cult leader.
Oh boy, the shadow is being revealed. This is one
it's
of my
all
favorite
being
spaces
exposed.
to play in, to go into the underworld, into the lower world, and to see and take the pulse of where we are at individually and collectively. Because the shadow is quite large right now amongst the men. Right now we are trending on Twitter at about 3 million. We are here on Instagram, I don't know, maybe about 100,000 coming up to that. And the comments, they are the same thing over and over and over again. So tonight I am going live with my brother Sean Graves. We're going to jump on and just jam out about this, of where people are being provoked by the content being posted, about men emotionally expressing themselves. And beyond whatever you think, looking beyond the words and beyond the video into the depth of how it is important for all of us to address our suffering, for us to address our inner demons, our fears, our limitations. And you know, over here, we do not fight fire with fire. We do not fight violence with violence. We fight it with compassionate, fierce love. And that's what we are going to talk about tonight. And right now, there is a massive opportunity. This wouldn't be coming up if there wasn't an opportunity. Shadows equal opportunities. Wherever people are being triggered, wherever you are being triggered in your life, it's an opportunity to look at a part of yourself to heal. And this is where we're at, and I'm very excited to go deeper into this topic, because this really plays into how it is we evolve into the next octave, to the next level of
the cult
what
language
we can
is
actually create
insane.
here on Earth and within ourselves. And there's
anyone that
so
tells
much
you about
available to us.
vibrations is selling you something that's just kinetic energy, and we know that stuff very, very well.
He has cult leader physiognomy.
Yes, he
we got a
does.
20 from Dubby Nanners. He said, Phil, I'm going to say what you're thinking and what we are all thinking. Gay! And that was the resounding response from men.
He's got like side-by-side pictures of Elon Musk and Tony Robinson.
I have a bunch of responses, mostly from men, about the male rage retreat. One said, these primal camps are cringe, but some of the most emotional and cathartic moments I've had were talking with other men around a campfire at night while camping. Men need campfires. Another one said, the existence of these retreats indicates a genuine need for masculine fulfillment. The problem is that men who behave this way, who start performing their emotions like hysterical women, aren't liberating themselves because men aren't liberated from the burden of pain. Mm-hmm. Do we get another 20?
Yep.
Kilo Bravo said, I hate when they use these metaphysical pseudoscientific buzzwords. How do you know someone is full of shit?
It's not even just metaphysical. It's not just pseudoscientific. It's designed to isolate you as a member of the group so that you're speaking the language of only those who identify as members of that group.
I mean, I think the idea that men are emotionally wired the same way as women is far more toxic than whatever you believe toxic masculinity to be.
100%.
And although I couldn't find this man's page or what company he runs, I see there are several that are doing exactly the same thing and have been for years. And GQ published an article about this back in 2018, interviewing the founder of Everyman, a community of men who come together to explore the frontier of human emotion and connection, holding their first ever retreat back in 2018. They said, in case you haven't been paying attention to the year that's been, male angst is turning into toxic masculinity, and it's taking a toll on guys themselves, their loved ones, and on society at large. Why are men so shitty at dealing with stress? They asked. They said, men are hurting, and the product of their pain is feeding and fueling the news every day, making it virtually impossible to ignore. Between male suicide rates climbing, school shootings continuing to unfurl, and the landscape of masculinity, undergoing its most drastic change in history, albeit for the better, men are hurting themselves and they're hurting others, but they're not getting the help they need, says Dan Doty, who founded Everyman. They call Everyman a grassroots movement for men-only camps, encouraging guys to get raw and vulnerable with their emotions. These initiatives are giving men a space to blow off some steam and ditch the macho pride our culture has historically told males to shoulder. It's not a big bro fest. And they said men need to talk to each other and not just bullshit locker room talk about sports and sex. The disconnect here comes in when you assume that men express their emotions the same way that women express their emotions. And usually when they're going on a male rage retreat, it's not called a male rage retreat.
It's hanging out with the bros.
Modern feminism treats men like broken women.
Basically,
and that's the way, and society behaves the way that modern feminism demands.
And conversely treats women like broken men, and therefore we all just become agender blobs.
It doesn't. Essentially, the way that women are treated is not to. They should not be the apex of femininity. They should try to be the president and the CEO. And men are supposed to open up and share their feelings. They're telling men to be women. Is essentially the thing. Act like women. Express yourself like women. There's no reason to believe that men would express themselves the same way women do. Men are going to work best, and they're going to feel most accomplished when they're working together with other men trying to do things, whether that be building stuff or working on projects together. That kind of stuff is where men bond, and that's when you'll get some of the discussion about feelings and stuff, but it'll be the way that men discuss that stuff, and it will help men because it will be in a context in which men are comfortable. This whole idea that you have women telling men or feminized men telling men how they should behave is ridiculous, and we're seeing the negative effects in society.
They're telling you to go to therapy to talk about it when we understand that that's just not the way that most men would feel comfortable talking about these types of things.
Yeah, one tweet said men will pay over $3,000 to unleash their primal power and instead of going to therapy, when in reality neither of these things are actual solutions. And by the way, toxic masculinity is not to blame for any of those things they listed: school shootings or any like mass acts of violence that are usually committed by people with pre-existing mental health disorders like schizophrenia, or they're being groomed by the feds, but we're not going to get into that much. But I think women just at large need to accept that they don't understand men and they don't understand the male experience, and likewise men should accept that they don't understand women and will not understand the female experience from firsthand experience.
Men have always been kind of comfortable with that. Men have been able to say, I don't understand women. Men have said women are crazy. We don't understand women. That has been normal for men for ages. The fact that there are people out there that are asserting that as a woman you could understand what it's like to be a man, or as a man you could understand what it's like to be a woman, those are the people that are actually kind of nuts.
Yeah, I think this is a symptom of the war on male spaces, essentially.
And homogenization between the sexes, thinking that there's a one-size-fits-all solution to
everything
any of these
has to be co-ed now.
Yes.
Because it was seen as exclusionary and oppressive for men to have spaces with each other. But women don't understand what men do when women aren't around. And that is okay. You don't have to assume that something sinister is happening just because you aren't welcome there.
Yeah, and just because you're excluded doesn't mean, like, the fact that you're excluded is not an invitation for you to storm in and demand they change it to the way that you like it.
Right, exactly. I mean, they like to do things, it seems, that are like activities together. But for women, when we hang out, it doesn't really matter where we are or what we're doing. We're just going to be doing the same thing anyway, which is talking.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about people and ourselves and our feelings, and interpersonal dynamics are intensely interesting to us. But men will just like go hunting together, or they'll go camping together, or whatever.
Skating for 25 years means that I've had many of the most important conversations with my friends while out watching each other do tricks on rails and ledges. Very rarely does that conversation just ever happen sitting around in a living room. It does sometimes, or like if you're on tour and you're actually going from city to city, you're all traveling together in a van or something like that, or you're staying at the same, you're crashing at the same house while you're doing that. That's all, but it's all part of the same activity, right? It's not like, hey man, you want to get together and talk?
You need that medium.
There needs
for
to
it
be something
happen.
that makes it happen.
Right,
There's
exactly.
a $20 there.
Kilo Bravo said, men should feel safe talking with bros and should also embrace their inner strength. In the service, I tell my boys that manning up is about dealing with your feelings in a disciplined and appropriate way. Hate this BS.
And again, this is all the language of that should tell you everything about what's going on here, which is that you're being sold into something that's very cult-like in its mentality. The language that's exclusive to the group so that they feel that they have special knowledge that other people don't understand. It's designed to isolate you from people outside of the group so that you buy into it further.
Yeah, and I think that this is just as dumb as the female rage retreats, for the record.
Yeah.
Those didn't make sense to me because obviously anger is not a dominant emotion for women. Men are generally going to experience more anger and keep more things bottled up. So I understand that they have more of a need to express it. This is not the way. I'm pretty sure everyone is on the same page that this is not the way.
20.
Carnell said, I myself have that about going on a male rage retreat this summer. It's called the Destroy All Enemies Tour. I hear there will be some serious screamers at this retreat.
Sick. It's going to be so sick.
But I don't think the concept of a retreat in general is inherently bad. But there needs to be a purpose for it outside of just self-indulgent whining and crying and screaming. It's like a male retreat for religious purposes, for instance.
That could be too, but I mean, yeah, that makes sense, but also like when dudes decide they're going to go on a hunting trip or like trips into the mountains, camping, fishing trips, like those kind of things are dude time.
The boundary
dudes
waters,
are being, and dudes are doing stuff with their friends, and it's like, whatever it may be, but there's all kinds of stuff that men do and get together to do, and that takes the place of these essentially feminized male retreats. These feminized talk about your feelings male retreats. It's all just mumbo jumbo garbage.
Yep.
And this is, I swear, when women see shit like this, it makes them more and more hysterical. I can feel it inside me. I'm becoming hysterical when I see men act like this.
Doesn't that give people the ick? I imagine
it gives me the ick. Hardcore ick.
Yeah.
And when women en masse are experiencing the ick, we have a fertility crisis on our hands. This is going to destroy society.
I love it.
Wait, so right
women
here
end mask and the ick. Thanks, homie. You just killed
it's
the
literally-
future.
You killed our boner.
It's like the face of the man who destroyed society.
Exactly.
He does have cult leader physiognomy. Like
He's got
hardcore.
a Jared Leto picture up somewhere.
Definitely.
Yes.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.